And welcome back to Washington Commanders Insider. We're talking about the Washington Commanders and the recent NFL power ranking that came out on Yahoo Sports, ranking the Washington Commanders at 27. Obviously, a disappointing loss for the Commanders as we are now 0-1 as we get ready to take on the New York Giants Sunday. But it looks like that the Bucks were able to go out and just pretty much do anything that they wanted to do to the Washington Commanders secondary. In fact, that is the biggest question that is raised in this particular article, talking about the Washington Commanders secondary and if Dan Quinn can fix this secondary. And so I think that this is going to be tough. We knew that this was the one unit that needed to be corrected if the Washington Commanders were going to do anything this year. In fact, Pro Football Focus going into this year, had them ranked 30th out of 32 teams. So they were not ranked very high at all. And that is with the departures of Cameron Curl and also to the cornerback Kendall Fuller. We knew that it was going to be a challenge for the Commanders, and then you're bringing in a new head coach in Dan Quinn. You're hoping that he can implement his system very quickly, but that didn't look like that was the case in game one. Also, too, we had Michael Davis who came over, arriving from Los Angeles. We're hoping that he could possibly help elevate this secondary as well. And then, just the young rookie that we had from Michigan, he got placed into the lineup on Sunday, got beat for a touchdown as well. So that was tough for us as well. So, yeah, I just think that there were too many big plays that the Washington Commanders gave up in the secondary. And in fact, last year, just looking at the statistics, this unit gave up 4,627 passing yards and 39 touchdowns last season. Both of those were league highs. And so, Dan Quinn has a tall order when it comes to fixing the secondary. And it didn't help that we had Emmanuel Forbes be beat pretty badly and also to make some terrible penalties along the way of getting beat. That was pretty horrible, and has us questioning just how good he is. He was supposed to be a ball hawk corner, and that just really hasn't shown up on Sundays. Then also, too, I think just what happened to Benjamin St. Juste. I think that he really had a tough ball game as well. Even though I think he competed his tail off, I think that Mike Evans definitely got the best of him, but that's okay. I talked about the fact that Mike Evans is an elite wide receiver. He was coming in with 10 consecutive seasons where he was 1,000-yard or he had 1,000-yard pass catching year, so 10 straight seasons. So we knew that that was going to be a tough order. And also, too, with Godwin on the other side, we knew that he was going to be able to win as well. He had 3 straight 1,000-yard campaigns, so we knew it was going to be tough for the corners, but they just were not able to hold up. And I think that with Dan Quinn's defense, when you look at what he did in Dallas, he was able to generate a lot of pressure up front and really rely on his linebackers to really cause havoc on the quarterback, which really probably led to some errant throws. And I think that he had corners that were able to take advantage of that. All right. And so when we look at last year's ranking for the Dallas Cowboys, they were a top 5 unit in the secondary. And he had a breakout corner in Deron Bland, who had a breakout season with 9 interceptions, returning 5 of those for touchdowns. So you had a cornerback that was very optimistic in taking advantage on turnovers. And that is huge, right? Because we needed that, especially when we have a rookie quarterback who I think was a bright spot for the Washington Commanders and what he was able to do as far as get out of the pocket, make plays with his legs, extend plays, and try to get it down the field. So you can just imagine what would happen if Washington could just fix this secondary. In fact, I think that that was the difference for Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears, the fact that their secondary was able to be optimistic and turn an interception into a pick six and really shut down Will Levis. Like, you're going to need that, especially your secondary is going to have to take away some huge plays. Then also, too, the Cowboys had Trevon Diggs as well. Like, he had some playmakers over there. And so it is going to take some time. I'm not sure who they're going to be able to get on the free agent list that could possibly come out and fix this unit. But I definitely think that, yes, this is something that the Washington Commanders are going to have to fix, or they're going to have to try to figure out a way to generate a little bit more pressure up front in order to help this secondary out. I'm not sure if going to more of a zone coverage is going to be the answer for the Commanders. I mean, that does allow you to maybe keep some things in front of you. But I know last season and looking at the tape, that was kind of a tough thing to do for the Washington Commanders. I felt like they gave up a lot of they still gave up some plays. Like I think that there were some blown coverages in the zones and stuff like that. Even though this is a different team, you wonder, is it possible for them to possibly turn it around here? And so, with that being said, I just want to kind of briefly go over some of the things that went well for us again. Again, I think that when you look at Jaden Daniels, I think that he had a good game, 17 of 24, 184 yards passing. And also, too, like I said, he did a great job as far as finding the end zone. So I think he did a terrific job for the Commanders. And I definitely think that I'm loving the fact that Dan Quinn has gone out there and went ahead and replaced the kicker. I love the fact that he's gone out and got one of those. Stock up for sure on Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson Jr. I definitely think the stock is definitely going to be up for them, especially if you're looking at fantasy football numbers. I talked about Austin Eckler and his ability to make some plays out of the backfield. And I think he's going to be huge because he did lead the Commanders in receiving. You don't want to see your running back doing that all the time, but I think that he is going to help out Jaden Daniels a lot because he's going to be a safety blanket for him between him and Zach Ertz. So I love that a lot. And then Brian Robinson Jr., I think that he showed a lot of dimensions to his game. I think he showed that he could definitely be a tough runner up front. And then also, too, he's gotten better as a pass catcher. So I think that that is going to make the defense a little bit more dynamic. And even though the stock is probably down on St. Juste, I still think that he did a terrific job as far as going out and trying to contest and compete with Mike Evans. In fact, I think this was a quote that was mentioned from Dan Quinn. And he said, look, he's one of those guys that I admire because he has the ability to self-correct. That is huge for a player out there, his ability to go out there and fix something. That's critical. So I do like that about St. Juste. And honestly, he might be the best player in the secondary for the Washington Commanders here. So I think that that is going to be interesting. One of the key numbers from that Buccaneers game is that on third down conversions, right? The Bucks were 69.2% of those were converted. So that is pretty high right there. So on defense, we have got to fix that going against the Giants. And I did talk about that a little bit, that the Giants are coming up next week. And the Giants were pretty terrible. All right. They got beat 28-6 by the Vikings. Daniel Jones did not look good at all. And I've said this before in my other podcast. I think that Daniel Jones should not have gotten that bag. But hey, I'm not the one that is in the Giants front office there. But this is the one thing that I will say about us Commander fans that are going in very optimistic against the New York Giants. Daniel Jones is 5-1-1 against the Washington team with 11 touchdowns, 10 passing, and just 3 interceptions. So for whatever reason, when he takes on Washington, he somehow does not turn over the football. So let me know in the comments what you are thinking as we are midway through the week and we're getting ready for the New York Giants here. So this is Rico, and this is the Washington Commanders Insider. We'll be back tomorrow talking a little bit more about the Washington Commanders as they get set to take on the New York Giants this Sunday. All right, take care. Peace.